Let's rock. Next up on the list, we're going for ending 57, Transcendentalism. Reminder that every single name, every single possible ending name you can get for Shadow the Hedgehog would make for a great album cover or something. They're all great. They're all raw names. They could be Keyblade names in Kingdom Hearts 358 Days Over 2. They could be many things. Now this route's much like before. We'll go on for Dark Hero, Neutral, Dark. If you think about it, Shadow the Hedgehog is basically the longest, most complicated game of Simon Says ever.
Promise time. Time to go and fulfill this promise.
One thing I don't like about Frontiers so far is that Eggman sounds very normal and not goofy. He needs to be more megalomaniacal. Man, why was that so hard for me to spit out? So, a detail that I didn't really fully appreciate, I did like pick up on, but I didn't get like how, to what extent the implications were. Almost all the Eggman dialogue you hear in Frontiers, he's by himself and doesn't have to, like, he doesn't have to put on any presentation for anybody. This is just him when he's talking into a microphone or to one of his creations. I gotta say, actually, it's funny because this game is only rated E10 somehow, but and they were gonna get a T rating, and that's what they downscaled on some of the violence. There's less blood, there's less intense swear words, that kind of thing. But these are like possibly the least violent gun impacts I have ever seen in a game that has realistic guns. Like, this is like, there are laser gun impacts that aren't this cartoony. Now, if this were a truly evil version of Shadow the Hedgehog, he would say, debt to all who oppose me. But this is just Dark Shadow, not Evil Shadow. Considering cumulatively I've played this level probably close to 100 times, the fact that I don't remember exactly what's in each of these nooks and crannies is kinda says something about my memory, I think. Man, this, I would have loved, I wish, now that Frontiers is out, and I don't think this is too much of a spoiler to say what games did and didn't get stuff, like in terms of level layouts. The fact that they didn't do any like weirder pulls, like there's one level that people think is from Sonic 06, but besides that it's all Generations, Unleashed, and Sonic Adventure 2. Not even Sonic Adventure 1, but like, so like this is like off the table, but I would have loved it if they brought in the Shadow level. And it's not like they couldn't, because they did bring in Shadow levels from SA2, or a Shadow level. I'm not sure if there was a second one, I can't remember right now. Don't think there was White Forest.
This is point 0100 HQ. Destroy those incidents. It seems that all inhabitants have already left. Hold the line, man! The same fate awaits the rest of us.
At everyone, 33. Hell yeah. All right, Dark Gauge, don't fail me now. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. If you do it just right, you can get both the gun soldier and the gun beetle. Basically, you have to have shots in the air for both, so they can both land, and then you get the true 56 out of 55 or what it is. Hey, Burgundy Striker Raz, how's it going? A buddy of mine says she hopes that stop the cyberspace level for DLC. Like, man. So honestly, like, the number one most popular thing I hear for what people want for Frontiers content is like a Shadow the Hedgehog mini campaign. And if they just flat out used shadow levels from other games in like a little like mini area, like about maybe the content of like 70% of one island or something like that, that would be pretty rad. And these levels with Frontiers physics would be immaculate, I think. There'd be no missions for one thing. For Frontiers, I'll play with Stopless for the 50th time. I mean, it'll be a fresh take on it. It would be funny though, honestly, if they did bring back shadow levels, but then also bring back the exact missions. Space. No, whoop, that was close. The world will plunge into chaos if you destroy cyberspace. Interesting. No, oh man.
Not here. What is that?
Oh, Shadow. What a coincidence running
I believe Frontiers ripped off Shadow.
I'm on a government assignment to track down a chaos emerald in the area. How about we both look
Whoop.
for it together?
I wonder if I can merge into the searchlights
No,
like I did
no.
with the lights from
Oh, thank goodness. Yeah, Frontiers uses a lot of terminology that has existed prior
That red block is a firework.
and just kind of acts like it hasn't existed prior.
Another firework.
Ah, damn it. I think I lost the fire shield the exact same way twice.
Out of the way.
When do I think a DLC campaign would take place in relation to this main story?
Stop that.
I think that most likely it would happen parallel to it. I personally, like, I said that everyone really wants a shadow campaign. What I want is a series of micro campaigns with Amy, Tails, and Knuckles. Like, a shadow campaign would be cool, but I think that they get a lot more mileage out of that, because they could also then set up their playstyles for the very inevitable Sonic Adventure 3.
Can I use that light that's flowing upward too?
Now, what could be a real wild pull, actually, is if they made the DLC specifically to introduce IDW characters. Where it's like, yeah, no, you thought we were going to do a Shadow the Hedgehog campaign? No, we're doing the Tangle and Whisper campaign. They're going to fight rough and tumble. Idiot. something I hate about this optional path. And I guess because it's optional, no one really playstested it properly, but I hate that there are rings that are too high to grab. That's infuriating. Imagine the infinite return of the antagonist. I mean, that is one of the things that goes parallel to people wanting a Shadow-like side campaign, because then they could use cyberspace to have a Phantom Infinite. I also personally think it would be cool if they kept using the Phantom Ruby going forward, because I feel like that potential has not been fully tapped. I think the Phantom Ruby could be like an overarching thing present for the rest of the series. Well, not the rest of the series, but like for the next like arc, I guess. It can't be as present as the Chaos Emeralds, because it is kind of like an unfair level of power. It is kind of not the most thought through in that way, because it's just can make anything happen by making your brain believe anything, which is very, very broad. But all that's been used for to a good effect, in my opinion, has been the hard-boiled heavies. You want to know what happened to him after Forces? Well, I can help you with that. He died. Confirmed by the Sonic Encyclopedia, where it just says the Phantom Ruby absorbed him.
Perfect.
Yeah, no, so Infinite is just dead. That's why he's not showing up in anything at all. Whenever people find out about this, it reminds me of the Ember Island players thing from Avatar. Or in cyberspace, woo! I mean, maybe. But it reminds me of the Ember Island players with Jet, where a like metal plate falls onto him slowly, and then the audience, people in the audience are like, "Did Jet just die?" And then it says, "You know, it was really unclear." Like that's exactly how it is with Infinite.
Feels like I've been here before.
This place used to be like your own military base, and they still maintain a presence here. Destroy.
Hey, Shadow. I got
Not even Mephiles is permadead, is he not? Like, fun fact, Mephiles was intended to appear in Frontiers. It's weird actually, because in the original script, they say even Mephiles has appeared, which is a very strange thing to say, considering nobody has any idea who Mephiles is.
this yellow water. Cross the river by using one of those floating discs.
The deep cut, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of theories out there that, like, Mephiles is meant to return in some way that connects to Shadow. I don't know that. Like, honestly, maybe it could happen now with Ian Flynn and the dedication to having an actual, like, more of a story. But I didn't know. I thought more people knew this. Yeah. So there is an early version of the Forces script out there, with lots of like small, well, not small. Like, there's lots of like specific things that about how things were written originally. Because like originally the Phantom Ruby was called the Valtron, which I think some people have suspected that it's actually meant to be the Virtron, as in virtual reality. But yeah, like there was a lot of changes, and there's a lot of like a decent chunk of the script is not in the final game, but there's also quite a few changes. And yeah, one of them is they say we've been seeing all kinds of people like Shadow, Chaos, and even Mephiles.
The smaller worms that come from its mouth can home in on me.
Yeah, no, Sonic should be confused by what Crisis City is doing in Generations, but unfortunately that game doesn't have writing. They forgot that an anniversary game celebrating the entire history of the franchise should have writing that relates to that. Infinite having Mephiles' eyes really suggests they were intended to be connected at some point. It's all Colors' fault. I don't know if they're necessarily connected, but I do think that Mephilis's, or not Mephilis's, the not Mephilis. I keep saying Mephilis. Infinite's eyes, I think, are interesting because they seem to be like submerged in liquid. Hey, Marvin, how's it going?
It's a war zone. You're gonna just make them matter.
Death to all who oppose me.
Wait a second. Can I do it? Can I do it, folks? Is this gonna be a mistake? No, yeah, I did it. The most mild pro strats.
Excellent. Excellent.
Now I've unlocked Charmy's Bloodlust, apparently. I don't think I can get the Darkness Orb this time. Spent this morning rewatching clips of KZ playing this game. Shadow, you mean? I'm assuming not Frontiers. Unleash getting raked over the coals and colors getting gassed up. Getting gassed up. Put the series in a death spiral. I'm assuming that means we're only now recovering from. Yeah. Colors was received incredibly well. Like, kind of, honestly, like, Colors was the Frontiers for people who didn't really care that much about Sonic. I imagine that the bad future in Sonic 06 still exists, a parallel timeline. Time Eater just pulled from that timeline. I mean, that clearly must be what happened, but it's weird because that timeline either way wouldn't exist because Solaris did time compression. Like, Solaris destroyed that reality. Crisis City, should, if that timeline still exists, should just be nothing. And then meanwhile, like, if you erase Solaris from existence, then obviously Crisis City never exists that way either. Honestly, even though I'm sure they didn't think about it this hard, you could argue that it's a kind of situation where Crisis City is just a constant, because Silver has a problem that Future Trunks has, where every time he goes back to the future, so, it's always a new bad future waiting for him. The only time this didn't happen is in Colors DS. I'm just reminded of one of KZ's co-hosts saying, "It will never be this good again," after someone commented that Culture is unlikely we'll ever have another game like Shadow ever again. Yeah, we are removed from the time where Shadow the Hedgehog could exist in this form. This is not how Shadow would be anymore. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, because...
We can go this way too.
Wait, is this the right way to go? Uh-oh, did I screw it up? I think my hubris may have gotten me.
Show them your true power.
Yeah, this is the top secret disc route. Whoops. Oh, hope that doesn't come back to bite me.
I know this place. It feels like I've been here before.
Shadow, this place used to be a human military base, and they still maintain a presence here. Destroy all the equipment and deal I have.
Hey, Shadow. I gotta ask you something.
Yeah, no, Unleashed, I feel like they definitely got the message of we should not try this hard because it's not going to pay off. Because people will go, werewolves don't have stretchy arms. That's not accurate.
This yellow water is poison. Don't touch it.
It's really funny how the Werehog is like absolutely a better action game than the majority of Western action games. But that's not what Sonic's supposed to be, so 3 out of 10. And I say that as someone who understands the real problem with the Werehog, which is that the platforming is way too demanding. And you can get stun locked. That's also a problem.
This
Unleashed a high effort FMV scene for Perfect Dark. I mean, it has, to this day, Sonic Unleashed has the best intro of a Sonic game ever. It is still unmatched. But not only that, Sonic Unleashed had a series of short CG films that were all focused on Sonic and Chip. Not only are there the in-universe ones, like one that's just very obviously we saw Kung Fu Panda and really liked it. There's also Night of the Werehog, an actual like short film that they still show in theaters in Japan around Halloween. So like they were like, there is a CG studio that was dedicated to making that kind of content for a bit, up until that stopped happening. And to my knowledge, they still help out with like the Sonic movie, but they really should just let them help out with the games again. Yeah, no, actually, fun fact: the guy who is like in charge of the Sonic movies is they directed, or not directed, but they were involved with the CG cutscenes of this game. They made the content of Shadow the Hedgehog. They are probably very invested in doing Shadow right in the Sonic 3 movie. Hello, Sora Naruzu. Can't even get still locked because after the first hit, if you don't push anything, you're invincible. True, but there are situations in, like for example, Empire City, where enemies will make shockwaves that will just keep hitting you as you get up. So you can just end up getting locked, or worse, just knocked off the skyscrapers. Honestly, that is like my biggest criticism of Unleashed Werehog stages, is that they're all just platforms suspended over big empty pits. Werehog Sonic's a good design, honestly, yeah. Remember an argument people wouldn't hit Unleashed if it was a different character for nighttime? Yeah, there's been a lot of people who say like, well, it could have been Knuckles. It could have been Rystar from Sonic Team's other Sonic game, Ristar. And mainline since has been a budget title. Yeah, it's literally gotten more and more budget. Like, Colors was $50, Forces was $40. It kept going down. That was done by Studio Marza, which did a big expansion of Sega's CGI division. One's made it with high quality cutscenes. Yeah, Marza, that's the name. QTEs are cool. Yeah, they're all right. They are just very much. Here's our E10 rated God of War QTEs, but they're fun. Fucked up that Charmy recognizes that by just attacking the military, they're only going to get madder and they'll retaliate even harder. Alright, we good? We good? This time I got a saucer with me, so I won't end up on the wrong path. Speaking of chaos, if anybody is like me and very disappointed about the state of Stranger of Paradise DLC, they just did a patch that allegedly rebalances extra mode. So I'm really hopeful that that means that I can actually play the DLC again, because they just lock you out of extra mode after a while. Yeah, I got it. Hell yeah. Chaos Sonic, where he turns into water. There is a time when that totally could have happened. Once upon a time. Like, if Sonic could just perpetually stay with the Dragon Ball Z angle, we would have absolutely gotten like fusions or something.
Well done, Shadow.
No, Shadow, you're supposed to kill the other ones? I mean, someone's got to teach Charmy
Now let's see the
to have a
humans try
taste for blood.
retaliate. Perfect.
Alright, hero, neutral, dark.
What's going on with me? I can't get the...
Man, speaking of like Dragon Ball Z and Chaos and stuff like that, though, I feel like there's a good chance some of the people watching right now do not know about Chaos's theme in Sonic Battle, and that song goes incredibly hard considering how hard it has to fight against the Game Boy Advance's sound chip. That song rocks. Damn it.
That's one of the... Oh, thank goodness he's all right. The heal unit side effect will make him dizzy for a while.
Remember, you were attacked by the humans here. You know what you must do. Finish them all.
So this level brings up an important theoretical moral question. If you kill 60 gun soldiers in a dream, does that impact your morality in reality?
There he is!
Your so-called human friend. Human weapons. Mere toys. Destroy them all.
There's something really satisfying about wall jumps that destroy the thing you're wall jumping off of.
There's no
I wish they had a sound effect, but even just those big white flashes for no real reason are satisfying. Just find the heal gun. You know what? You know what? You're right. Next time I do that,
This facility is grotesquely
that's such a niche thing, but yeah.
machine
Kill them all, Peter. I do remember when Maria said that.
destroyed.
Ah. I like how the plot of Sonic Adventure 2 literally is just Shadow remembering his Uncle Ben saying, "Kill them all, Shadow. Please, for their sake."
Think about it. Before attending to the wounded, you should take revenge on those heartless soldiers who caused it.
I that little bit right there is actually like, it's not like in this context actually like meaningfully good, but the idea of him being like, "Oh yeah, no, before you tend to the wounded, why don't you just go and kill all those guys that do it? You know, we gotta take care of them first. Then we can do good." It's such a genuinely like that's how like morally dubious stuff gets sold to people a lot. Genuinely. And it's a level of nuance that Black Doom does not earn, but it's there.
Forget about me. Just run.
Ah! That was close.
Come here! Get him!
If you had a clone of Hitler who didn't do all those awful things, but he thinks he did, would you kill him? That just sounds like the setup to the most controversial JRPG ever made. Uh-oh. Okay. I thought they were stopping it from respawning. Like, sorry. Sorry, you're getting in the way of me helping people. You have to die. I wonder, how many shots does the heal gun have in this game? I want to say it's like 8 and not 10, which is what I would need. But if I can get 2 shadow boxes, it would be fine.
No! Men, forgive me.
It would certainly speed up this part. No way around waiting for this one. It's an Oni plays bit. I mean, it does sound like the kind of thing that would come from someone who makes cartoons like that. Like, that's something I could see, for example, being in Rick and Morty. And then you get some sort of like mediocre nihilist point about how bad things are bad or something. Wonder if it's remotely practical to get what you want from those item boxes.
HQ, come in. Stay back. This is for my friends. We have Mr. Eugene not fired. Get ready to
The plot point in Young Justice, is it? I feel like I'd remember that, but I haven't watched Young Justice in a long time. I never did watch the new season.
Several art scientists. We have apprehended several art scientists. Incoming! Ah!
I'm glad I can use my Paragon abilities to overwrite the will of these people.
Thank you so much.
Get my hero score a little bit higher. What do you think the heal unit heals if you're not dying? Do you think this like, oh man, my cataracts, they're gone. I can see clearly now.
Thank you.
It heals Ligma. What's that?
I will protect the people of the Ark.
A villain was cloned for some steam and the clone didn't get jail time because they can't charge him
Perfect.
crimes his genetic father did. I mean, yeah, that's reasonable. Sugma. Oh, that's the guy from Mega Man X. It's like Pearl Jam. It will heal your stiff shoulders and tiredness. Finally.
This is Heavy Dog.
The heal unit really is the greatest invention. It's a shame that it's stuck on the Ark in the past.
Bring swift judgment upon these humans for their trespassing.
Oh yeah, so I tweeted this, but this is such a banger idea that I need to make sure I have a captive audience who can appreciate it, because I was thinking about the possibilities of a Sonic Adventure remake, considering how much they telegraph it with Frontiers, and just interviews in general. And something they gotta do, they gotta direct the rival fights where you're like, play as like Knuckles and fight Sonic or whatever. They gotta direct those like Supersonic fights from Frontiers. And then they also have to have a phase 2 where the regular rival theme, which is a really good theme by the way, gets vocals relating to that character specifically. If you want to listen to that theme to get an idea of what I'm proposing here, the song is called Fight for My Own Way, or Fight for Your Own Way, or something like that. Once it heals physical wounds, it goes straight to the mind.
How dare you harm Maria, disgusting humans, out of my sight.
Also, hello Assassin Pro 1, how's it going? Government would definitely destroy anything good. I mean, yeah. We can't use the heal unit from Professor Gerald. He did morally questionable things in order to create a cure for space AIDS. The remake Perfect Chaos Fight still has 2 phases, but the second one is just a remix of Open Your Heart. Yeah, no, they gotta switch the orders this time. Generations was a chance to fix it and do right by history. Shadow Android? I should have watched that.
Shadow, I need to get back to my base and restore order. Help me get away from these pesky gun soldiers who are on my
Holy shit, those ADHD treats no longer hit close to home. Alright, this time I'm just going neutral, right? Yeah. So what gets me some hero? Oh yeah, this is actually a handy stage where the goal isn't to destroy all the Eggman robots. So I can do that and just ignore the blimp and get some bonuses. Oops. I keep pressing X to shoot, because that's just where I think it should be, but nah. X is X in this game. Wait, where's the... There we go. I'm kind of impressed by how every vehicle in Shadow feels so uniquely terrible. There's not one where I go, oh man, this'll be fun to use. Oh god, forgot it does that. God, this game's mean sometimes. You see, it's a heavier, with heavier machines, the springs don't send you as high. Oh yeah, no, Omega only cares about destroying Eggman robots. Now the real question is, what's the best place to use Chaos Control? Where's a gap I can use? There's lots of rails, so I might get a decent shot. Oh, I've got to use it soon, because I'm going to get it right now.
Behold the ultimate power.
This game is a weird thing where they get really insistent on using the word mech and mecha. Sonic 06 does this too. Like, Tails constantly talks about like Eggman's mecha. It's weird. It's not technically wrong, I don't think, but it's a strange thing to like insist upon after calling them Eggman's robots for such a long time. There they are, Eggman's robots. Leave them to me, Sonic. I don't think there's a more quotable Sonic game than Heroes. Every line is iconic. Annihilation, annihilation, fire, charge, worthless consumer models. Oh man, Omega might be one of the best written Sonic characters. Unfortunately, that stopped happening pretty quickly, but in Heroes, he is immaculate.
Shadow's copy combat skills unacceptable. Most likely a defective unit. Egg, balloon.
I love how Omega's biggest thing is just these robots mid as fuck.
Gun, heavy combat unit H detected.
I love the idea of consumer grade, like death robots.
The next area. Do not impede our progress.
Get rid of the gun soldiers who are preventing my escape.
Alright, can I get a chaos control?
Who do you think you're
No? Oh, just barely. Oh, boo.
Steel gun
Boo. Shadow, I have analyzed your duplicates and determined their Jordans are fake as hell.
Perfect.
Man, you want to know what one of the most embarrassing things about Vic Mignogna's career is? In a laundry list of embarrassing things, he couldn't do a good Omega voice. How does that happen?
This is what you get for
How can your skill level be so low?
you asked.
My skill level's super high. Watch as I beat this boss super fast.
Next time we meet, you won't be so lucky. Just you wait and see.
An android? Me? I don't believe you. Perfect.
I'm surprised. What do you mean he was Omega? Yeah, in Forces. And I think anything around that era. Yeah, I forget exactly when the switch happened, but yeah, because like already they changed the direction of Omega in '06 and made him way more robotic, and it was really lame. But yeah.
Wish you'd never created me.
Oh man, these are still some of the best rail mechanics. Just because of how fluid it is to swap rails in this game compared to every other game from this era.
Eggman is inside here. If you have a need to confront him, then assist me in my search.
Oh jeez. Whew.
Secret door detected off to the right.
I wonder if I can. I don't think I can show it this time, but that side is really interesting. I might have even shown it at some point in a previous stream.
Eggman robot eliminated.
Oh, Shadow! Gun has surrounded my base and are trying to bring me down. Activate the volcanic defenses and shield the base with my lava magma.
The way he says lava magma always tickles me. It's just such a weird sentence.
This rail has melted partway through due to activating my volcanic defenses. The magma's really flowing here. That bridge is the only way to get across.
The eternal problem of games or levels where there's only where there's only one type of enemy, but you need guns. Yeah, you're always scared to try change rails. Remember how now don't try anything. Try something funny. Huh? What do you mean? What is that referring to? A volcanic lava magma? That is what it is.
The second machine is
This is such a neat level. I'm sure I mentioned this whenever I played it last, but it's been a while.
You're going to need to use the walls to get past here.
No! Ah!
Not here.
Don't try something funny. I mean, honestly, the writing in this game for the characters is like deceptively really strong. Like when you I know I brought this one up at some point, but when you encounter the juggling robots and Eggman is your partner, he says he tells you not to interrupt them because you'll ruin their fun little act. And that's such good character writing. I don't care what anyone says. I love how he's so into his own ideas.
Activate the defense unit and use the ledges leading to the path on the left.
Ah, damn it.
Not here.
Oh, that was the worst time for the camera to rotate. Now I need to. Oh, I need a gun, but now I'm gonna have to do one of these. These are the guys who you can ruin their fun little act. And they don't even drop any guns. Ah. Here we go. Their little act. No.
Within my base.
Yeah, like I think it's a very important part of Eggman as a character that, you know, like there's even like a line I think in the IDW comic where he says, "I could carpet bomb Sonic anytime, but that's not what I want to do." It's like a little bit more of a coherent version of the that Spider-Man thing where it's like, but I don't want to cure cancer. I want to make dinosaurs. All right, do I go that way? I think not. Thank you for the guns. Wait, shouldn't this be filled up? I guess not. The lava fills up in stages. I think there's like a refresh rate in between how like each hit counting towards activating those defense things, but I don't know exactly what it is, so I always just mash. Meh. This just reminded me of, so I already mentioned I was looking at some Sonic Heroes stuff last night, and it just got me thinking about how people are like, oh man, you can tell that Sega or Sonic Team didn't care at all putting together Frontiers. They didn't make it so that the levels are cohesive and coherent. And it's like, you look at Sonic Heroes and there's just these giant signs that say speed, fly, power. Like how far back in the franchise do you have to go where there are no unnatural elements to the level design? Like it's clearly never something they cared that much about. I do think it's good when things are natural like this, where like these platforms are coming out of the wall and look like they're part of the base, even though they're still very much platforming things first and part of the area second. But I think that you can say like, oh man, Sonic levels are always been about super cohesive design. Frontiers is a video game, massive video game, and I love it for that. Yeah. It's not as intensely video game, massive video game as like a Mario game.
About my existence. Nobody lays
Mario can get away with completely abstracting their game design. Like someone can go down a pipe and end up in a blue room with red square platforms with the only detail on them being little bolts in the corner, and people say, well, that's fine. But then you go to a Sonic level and it's like, oh, only 70% of these assets are new? Man, Sonic Team really is pathetic.
You did very well.
Need those signs
Shadow.
IRL on highways and streets? That's true.
You have surpassed
I can't imagine how many lives would be saved if people knew when to use speed, fly, or power formations on the road.
Final target confirmed. Commencing combat.
Real life doesn't have grind rails. Yeah, that's exactly it. Rings again? Come on. Ugh.
No! My beautiful rings!
Now, to be fair, I have been informed by some people that the depiction of San Francisco in Sonic Adventure 2 is accurate. So there is that.
Shadow fever! Death to all who oppose me!
The mech's automatic system is set to whoever marks the third slot as the designated attacker. In other words, by stopping the third wheel yourself, you can deal an attack against anyone.
Oh, that was close. That is like 2 pixels. Oh no, there's a bit more. It just blended in the background. Okay. It's been so long since I've seen, like, except for when the attack goes off in the first move of the fight. Like, you just don't see these attacks anymore once you know how this fight works.
Now you've asked for it!
Man, 2 Shadow Fevers.
No! Not Shadow fever! Chaos! Death to all who oppose me!
I can't imagine how fast this fight would go if you could get guns sooner. And then also get Shadow Fever.
If you can land the slot wheels on bomb or missile, you can attack Eggman.
Hey! Stop that! Hey!
Alright, that should do it.
Wait! Abort!
Giant big rigs trying to kill you is essential to the California experience. Interesting. So there's a lot of things I don't know about culture in the United States, 'cause I'm Canadian, obviously.
No! This can't be!
Like, it is just weird, some of the stuff you guys do, but I guess it's just different expectations for different parts of the world. Yeah, I was late on the way to work, so I had to grind along a rail. Perfect. Waiting for the Golden Gate. Props to the city developers for putting the spring at the end. Give me so much air. Good city planning does go a long way. No real way around that. All right, that's session 2. We're down two routes, one last one to go. And that means I've now done Transcendence.